All right, guys, so today we're going to talk about something that keeps getting brought up and I didn't realize that people still didn't understand. So we're going to be talking about different styles of backpack today: frame, external frame, internal frame, and frameless. So, and I will have a fourth bonus one we'll talk about at the end, so stay tuned to the end if you want to hear about that one. But basically, I was talking to someone in one of the groups, and we were talking about a frame pack, and he started talking about the bars rubbing his back, and I went, oh, you mean external frame. Now, let me start off by saying I have my own opinions, but any of these packs could be great for any person. You just got to find what works for you. I know that my buddy Fred, and actually his buddy, still runs an external frame pack to this day, and they love it. And there's reasons why they're great, but they're not for me personally. Internal frame, not so bad, but I'm still not big into having metal stays against my back. I don't care how much it carries. I'm a frameless guy, it just is what it is. But I was also lucky enough to convince my wife to come down and have to put all these on and model them for us. So thank you, honey. And let's get started here. So the first one we're gonna be talking about is an external frame pack. All right, so the first one we're gonna talk about here is by a company called the A-Line. It's the Bonanza Nylon. Basically, this is just your run-of-the-mill older style aluminum external frame pack. I don't have the ties on, but they are on the inside of it. This thing comes in empty at about 4 pounds. It's a pretty solid pack. Let me get it turned around here. We just stuffed some blankets in it. So as you can see, you have an aluminum frame all the way around, and then the crossbars, which is where your shoulder straps. And then you've got these weaver bars here to make sure your pack doesn't bulge you. Under here you got the same for your lower back. Now on the older model, when I looked this up, it actually used to have a little bump pad right here, but it doesn't seem to have one now. It says it's magnesium aluminum alloy frame. So I'm sure this was a pretty high-tech pack back in the day. Doing a little research, a lot of people said this is what a lot of the older scouts used to run. Boy Scouts and such, Cub Scouts. So pretty nice setup, but you still got those bars, and then bars are not my friend. Now, let's get this bad boy up on my wife, strap her up in it, and we can take a look at it on her. All right, guys. So as you can see, this bar will hit like your butt line pretty much. And then get my wife to put her arms out. The frame has a contour built into it. It kind of fits your body and doesn't touch here because you don't want it hitting your kidneys, your liver, and all that. You want it on your back, on your shoulders, and your lower butt, and that carries the weight. Now in the front, you can see, unlike more normal packs, there's a lot less adjustment and like load levelers and stuff. So it's carrying on her shoulder and her neck, and it's wrapping her arms. Big bushy pads on these. So you know that they were built because they knew they'd be pulling on them. Now, as we go around and look at it though, look how high up. I mean, I know my wife's kind of short, but look at the space. You know how high the pack runs. Now this is only like a 40 liter. I mean, but if you look at how it's built, you can strap stuff to that. And that's the concept of these packs, because these packs can basically carry as much weight as you can strap to them, honestly. I know guys that took this all off and just had the pack, and then they would strap cinder blocks to it and take it up on construction sites up scaffolding to keep stacking blocks. We won't talk about their ethnicity, but they work very hard. But they used to strap like 10 cinder blocks with leather belts to these and go up. I mean, climbing up scaffolding. So, you know, one of those things about these packs is I don't put a weight limit on them. If you're the kind of person that goes short distances or has to carry insane amounts of weight, external frame pack may be just what you're looking for, honestly. Now, for me, long term, the bars hitting me does me in. I can't do it. My shoulders are too big, my back's too big. I've tried 3 or 4 different ones on with gear and it just doesn't work for me. How does that feel on you, honey?
I like it all except for I
Your
don't
head?
like that up against my head.
Yeah, I can see where that would be annoying.
Maybe.
So if she had the belt feature on it, she might be able to pull it in.
Better.
But the problem I had with that is the concave's built in, so when you pull it flat, I'm too wide for it to fit in the concave. So yeah, I guess I have a big ass. Anyways, so that's the external frame pack. The frame's on the outside. They can carry pretty much as much weight as you can strap to them. I have literally never seen or heard anyone say anything about one of these packs given out unless it was just sheer due to old age. I mean, they're built like tanks. You can't tear them up. So now, let's get over and do the internal frame pack. All right, guys, so our next contestant here is an internal frame Kelty Comel. All right, this is a 70-liter pack, so this is pretty big compared to the rest in this. This is an internal frame. This one tips the scale at just over 4 pounds, and this one's a rider, guys. I mean, look at this way the load levelers are set up. Look at the way the base is set up. It is adjustable. I mean, padded to no end. It's got the water feature, so you got the water pass through. It's got the brain on it. I mean, this thing is back padded. This thing is a beast. You can carry a lot of weight in this. I'd say you could easily carry up to about 45 pounds in this. Now, if you look here, and I chose this one because they can be seen so easy. These are your internal frame stays. All right, this is what keeps your pack shape and which helps you carry the weight and doesn't pull on the top and pull your back down. You can also see them down here. All right, so they run the entire length from your hip belt to the highest point where they're pinned through. All right, so this one, I would say 35 to 45 is a comfortable range on this pack, but being that it's a Kelty and how heavy duty it is and heavily padded, we all know you could go a little higher than that, but that's brand specific. That's just how they build packs, or how they used to, I should say. So let's get this put on my wife, kind of get a good look at it and how it sits and rides. All right, so she's got it on. Now, if you look between her shoulders and the pads, we didn't change the torso length on it. It takes like a few minutes to do it, and I just didn't want to mess with it. So you'll see it riding high on her shoulder. All that is the belt adjusts and you can move it up higher. So we would adjust her torso length to match it so those sat straight on her shoulders normally. But we're not going to adjust it today because I want to leave it open. That way you can see the frame stay there. And then you see it goes right down under her back and down under her shoulder. And then it hits again here behind the belt. So her lower back is not touched at all. In fact, there's almost, the way it's got the slight bent, there's almost an air gap in there. You can almost see through. So that actually will keep her back cooler. And the pad stops here. And from the belt to the pad is adjustment, but it's also an air cavity to let air through. Now you can see this thing has load levelers that are actually connected to the top of the stays to be able to pull and arc that just a little bit more. Kelty knew what they were doing when they designed this thing. It'll carry some weight. And if I was personally going to run an internal frame pack, it'd probably be something designed a lot like this. Realistically, this is about as comfy and padded as you get without going to Osprey or something like that, or Granite Gear or one of the other top names. So what do you think of the actual internal frame, honey?
It's pretty comfortable.
Yeah, it'd carry well. I mean, obviously, if you had your torso set right, it'd be better, but
right.
The fact of just having it on your back and how it sits on you.
The padding versus the bars makes a big difference, I think.
Oh yeah, I can guarantee you. But it's all about what you want to carry and what you want to feel, because you put anything over about 40-45 pounds in that pack, and you can feel how it'll draw you down. It'll pull you backwards almost even.
I can see that.
Internal frame's pretty basic and simple. Probably the best technology for carrying anything over 20 pounds that's out nowadays, honestly. There are other ones like 3FUL Gear started doing the round stays that come down and come out on their trajectory packs. I haven't got a chance to test those, so I'm not going to speak on them. I'm just going to speak that the new technology is coming out and they're making changes. But on that note, I think we need to switch over to what we use, the Frameless. All right, now we come to the next pack. So this is the 3F UL Gear 40+16 Frameless backpack. This is actually my wife's pack. Recently we had this pack modded to fit her torso length because this actual pack doesn't come in various sizes. But you'll find that a lot of frameless packs nowadays are no longer the one size fits all like this one was. They actually have torso lengths and you can buy them based upon your torso length to fit correctly. Now, on a frameless pack, you're going to see that there's a lot less pocketing going on, okay? The concept is to be lighter, but also to carry somewhat less. Now, on the back here, there is no frame at all, nothing. Some of these have interior dividers that you can slide like a little air pad or a butt pad or a couple things down in there to make you a makeshift frame. This one technically was designed to take a sleep pad that had been shortened a little bit and put in here, and then these straps cross to hold it in, and that basically held a pad here. We also used regular sit pads. Both of our sit pads doubled up and slid in here for her. But once she learned to pack it correctly, there was no more need for a frame, because when your gear's in there correctly, it makes a flat surface there. Now hers has been modded here to shorten the torso length. So how hers sits and stands is a little different. But this is generally what you would see on the back of a frameless pack, is just smooth material, nothing there. All right. Now on mine, I do have two pads that run down it. Some companies are doing that. The pads are just there to take a little bit of pressure off your back. Now, everybody's going to say something different. I've actually seen some of the ULA packs are talking 17 to 18 pounds being their top out. I've seen them up to 25 pounds. My rule of thumb for everybody, if somebody asks me what my opinion is when you get ready to step onto the trail, water, food, fuel, everything, I would keep it under 20 pounds if you can. I have seen this exact pack carry over 30 pounds for my buddy over at Jason Outdoors. Go check out his pictured rocks and a couple other trips he's done. He's had that thing weighed down well beyond that, and it rode just fine and did just fine. So I'm not saying it can't be done, but you're increasing the inherent risk of failure when you do that. And it may not be nothing. It may be as simple as a load lifter pops and it doesn't hurt anything. But it may be as simple, it may be as bad as a strap gives out. You know what I mean? So 20 pounds is usually the limit on most frameless. That is at least what I tell people. If you can get lower, better, great. So let's get this up on my wife, which is no problem for her because this is her pack, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, as you can see here, she's fully loaded. We actually just got back from the Trailheads event. So this is her fully loaded loadout. I think we're sitting with poles and all, she's sitting at about 16 pounds here. All right, that's her quilt, stove, cook system, everything. So one thing I want to say is frameless has come a long way, and some have them, some don't. She has a solid belt, which means it's not removable. A lot of them nowadays are come with removable belts. She's got some come with removable fanny packs, removable packs. She's got hip belts. They're not removable. Hair up, baby. Some of the lighter weight versions don't have load levelers. Hers does. She does have a hip belt, like I said. Now, even with the torso shortened and corrected, because she's been measured and this has been done correctly, it still takes an arc with her back. But this is something I do have to show you because some people don't realize this. The reason they want to put pads inside and on the outside here is because these packs like to bend with their stuff that's in them after a long day of hiking, and you see it's touching her back. That's what some people can't deal with. They cannot deal with the fact that the fatigue it puts on the inside of basically your guts for all intents and purposes, and pushing on it makes it so some people can't do it. Generally, I find that when that happens though, it's because either somebody has a pre-existing injury or because they have too much weight in their pack or it's not packed correctly. Many times I've seen people come out with bruises on the back of their lower back, and then I find out that they had their sleeping pad down in there and turned sideways, and it was literally jabbing them in the back as they're walking. But you can see the total shape, and every time you watch anyone with one of these packs on, it's going to take a natural curve over time because it's going to kind of fit to your body and your gear over time. The more it's filled, the higher straight up it goes and has less curve. The lower they have their gear, like an overnighter, it's going to have just a little more curve if you pull your load lifters tight. This is what we run because we like to try and keep it lightweight. We like to do longer days, but even on short days, we appreciate the lighter load on our back. It's kind of like what we like. It doesn't mean it's going to be what's best for you, and you definitely need to review the rule of 20 pounds really should be your max. So now I promised you guys we were going to do one more, and this one is kind of where the industry is going and a lot of the ultralight guys are going. We're going to show you our budget take on the same concept. All right, so let's talk about this little guy. This is my Modace 40 liter. Before I started running my 3FUL gear, this is what got me really going on the frameless. This little guy's like 20 some bucks off of Amazon. And I'm gonna tell you, for your first frameless or starting to get used to it, or if you're gonna take a frameless out day hiking and really load it up and train, this is the one for it, I'm telling you. These like lighter versions of packs now for people that are in that ultralight range, you know, people that have trail weights at like 10 to 15 pounds. These new lines of packs are just amazing. They're made out of amazing materials. They're constructed in ways that they can carry bulk without weight. I mean, it's really, the industry is really going in a cool direction. And some of them come without hip belts because they're so light they don't need them. Now, there is the side of losing comfort. And that is a real thing. If you're willing to accept comfort, you know, loss, then you can lighten up. And that rings true even on this cheaper one. Because if you look at the straps, look how thin those are. There's nothing there. It's got some padding in there, but not much. You would think that would be very uncomfortable. But if you have this at 10 pounds or 12 pounds, it doesn't bother you at all. Now, different from a lot of the newer ones, this does have a very thin hip belt with decent pockets. And it's a solid hip belt. I mean, it's heavy duty. It has these very thin mesh side pockets that are super deep so it can carry lots of water. And the whole pack only weighs 15 ounces. 15 ounces. This weighs 1 pound. My wife's pack weighs 2 pounds frameless when it's empty. This weighs 15 ounces. And I've seen guys cut off the extra straps, pull the cordage, and lighten these things down to almost 13. So let's get it on my wife's back and I'll show you the difference. All right, she's got it on and loaded up. Now, as you can see, it's very minimal. It rides a little higher than the rest. It's still at belt level, but it's how it sits. You see, it takes that curve, just like I told you. Now, up top, there is no load levelers. Changing out comfort, but there's no need because there's not going to be enough weight in here to bother anything. And you notice the very minimal padding. Chest strap with a whistle. She's got her belt all the way around. Now you notice they put these pockets really far back. That is kind of a pain in the butt, honestly. I'm gonna be honest about that. But having them, you can make it work. Deep pockets, light design and profile. It actually has a roll top under here, or a cinch top I should say, and it'll come up to the back of about midway up her head if needed to fill up with gear. It is a true 40 liter. Now, you're sacrificing a lot here because you've got the belt, which is nice, but very, very thin with pockets that are very small and back very far. You also have very thin shoulder straps with 0 for load leveling. All right, it has plenty of space, but yet I can tell you one problem with this is if you leave something in there and a mouse chews a hole in it, this is pretty much impossible to repair with like tape and stuff because it's just that thin mesh. It's like almost a rayon, and very dirty. But overall, for a $20-some pack, learning to be ultralight with these helped us lighten up very quickly and very fast, because if not, you were going to feel fatigue. But mind you, these are the same packs that we carried 30 miles in one day at Shawnee State Forest with full gear in it. I was coming in at like 16 pounds or 18 pounds if I remember right, because I had the Lanshan 2 in here. So they're more comfortable than they look if you're willing to deal with that kind of reduction to save a pound versus say Missy's pack. So just wanted to cover these. There is a million other name brands that are built so much better than this in this same weight category. This is just a budget option because, you know, we always try to give you a budget option. If you want to see these in action as far as these ultralight style frameless packs, my suggestion would be go over and check out Jupiter Hikes. He's kind of the king of going super light in a super light pack. I'm not going to mention any pack names or get into any of that. I just show you what I've used and how it's worked for me. So as it is with all YouTube videos, it seems like lately, you're shooting, everything's good, and then it gets overcast and it's about to rain or snow. So we're going to get our butts up in the house before the weather breaks. I hope you enjoyed our little this versus this on the external frame, internal frame, and frameless packs. You got to figure out what works for you guys. Be comfortable. That's the only thing that matters at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if you're ultralight. It doesn't matter if you carry half of your bedroom with you. As long as you're enjoying yourself, that's all that matters. Enjoy nature your way. If you want to carry 20 cinder blocks strapped to your back, get you an external frame and do it, buddy. I'll walk right down the trail next to you. It just depends on what you want. I gave you a few little opinions in this. Please don't let that sway you, because your experience and your mileage may differ. We all got to just take and carry what makes us happy. And that's the fact at the end of the day. So I hope you guys found this video enjoyable. And if nothing else, you can give me a thumbs down. I'll still like you. It's okay. But if you haven't already, please think about taking a moment, going to the bottom, hitting that subscribe button, and then hitting that notification bell so you can check out all of our upcoming videos and you won't miss anything that way. So until next time, I'm Tony, and we'll see you.